Yeah.
We are excited to present that melody. We do it often, but it is Erev Becky Mann who wrote it, and she will become Cantor Becky Mann. She'll become Cantor Becky Mann in May. We're so proud of her, and I get to see her in New York next week. I'm so excited. Well, I am very honored to present my rabbi and Jeremy's rabbi as our scholar in residence this Shabbat, Rabbi Stephen Einstein. If you follow me on social media, I called him the GOAT, the greatest of all time. It is true. He has many accolades, and he has asked that if you would like to know about his accolades, you can Google Rabbi Stephen Einstein, and they will all pop up in his bio and speak for themselves. So you don't need them, because when you hear him speak tonight and you hear him sing tonight, you will understand why he is my rabbi. So we're very honored to have you, and let's bring in Shabbat. So I think it's time to light the Shabbat candles. We're going to turn to page 120, and we're going to call Rebbitzin Robin Einstein forward to light our Shabbat candles.
You don't have to Google me.
You're the legend that needs no introduction.
O source of life and truth, creator of the eternal law of goodness, help us to find knowledge by which to live. Lead us to take the words we shall speak into our hearts and our lives. Bless all who enter the sanctuary in need, all who bring the offerings of their hearts. May our worship lead us to acts of kindness, peace, and love. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat. Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen. Well, I've been called many things, but this is the first time I've been called a goat. So, however, I know what that means, so I appreciate it. It is a joy to return to the Bima of Congregation Ner Tamid. I was here last time, I think, for Cantor's installation.
I actually think you came
At
also for when the last time the rabbi went on sabbatical.
Ah, yes, okay.
Yeah,
So,
But
well,
I don't remember. It's all fuzzy now. I don't know.
Well, it's good to be back in any case. And we're going to go next to Lecha Dodi. You'll find it on page 138. And I have to tell you something. Robin and I just got back from 2 weeks in Egypt, Jordan, and Israel. I was a co-leader on an interfaith tour of those countries. And exactly 2 weeks ago, we were in Tzfat. Tzfat, the holy city of Tzfat, is really the home and center of Kabbalah. And what we're doing right now, this part of the Friday evening service, what we call Kabbalat Shabbat, the welcoming of the Sabbath, its origin is in Tzfat. There, the Kabbalists in the 1600s would gather late Friday afternoon as the sun was setting, dressed all in white. They would walk out into the fields to welcome the Shabbat bride. We think of the Sabbath as a bride, and we welcome her to come in. It's so special, like at a wedding when the bride comes in. That's the main moment. And this is it. This is the entrance into Shabbat. Interesting thing about this medieval poem, and that is there's a secret in it. And that is, if you look at page 138 and just look at each of the verses, the first one says Shamor, the next one says Likrat, and so on. And if you look at the first letter of each of the verses, guess what? The composer put his name in there. If you can read Hebrew, you'll see it says Shlomo Halevi. And Shlomo Halevi Alkabetz is the author of this wonderful poem that we will now sing.
Cool.
Ya la 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 lecha dodi. Ya la 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 likrat kala. Ya la 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 p'nei Shabbat. P'nei Shabbat nekavela.
We're going to do verses 1, 5, and 9.
Ya la 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 lecha dodi. Ya la 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 likrat kala. Ya la 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 p'nei Shabbat nekavela. Ya la 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 lecha dodi. Ya la 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 likrat kala. Ya la 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 p'nei Shabbat nekavela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad. Ishmi'anu el ha'milchad. Adonai echad u'shmo echad. L'shemo tiferet v'lithilah. Hey, ya la 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 lecha dodi. Ya la 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 likrat kala. Ya la 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 p'nei Shabbat nekavela. Ya la 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 lecha dodi. Ya la 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 likrat kala. Ya la 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 p'nei Shabbat nekavela. Hitoreri, hitoreri, kiva orech, kumi uri, uri, shir daveri, kivod Adonai, alayich nigla. Hey, ya la 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 lecha dodi. Ya la 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 likrat kala. Ya la 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 p'nei Shabbat nekavela. Ya la 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 lecha dodi. Ya la 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 likrat kala. Ya la 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 p'nei Shabbat nekavela.
Rise to greet the Shabbat Bride, verse 9.
Boi v'shalom atet bala gam b'simcha u'bzola toch emunei am segula boi chala Hey, yalla la 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 chadodi, yalla la la likrat kala, yalla la la b'nei Shabbat nekah bela, yalla la 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 chadodi, yalla la la likrat kala, yalla la la b'nei Shabbat nekah bela.
We remain standing for the Baruch Hu, page 146. I also want to point out that that was written by Erev cantor Josh Goldberg, who also will become a cantor this May at a different institution. Pretty cool what our new cantors are out there composing.
Yes.
Oh, Shalom Aleichem, you can be seated. I don't know, I put that in there. We don't usually do that one right there, but I wanted to do it tonight.
142.
142. We could have kept going, Eddie. No one would have known.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharei, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Haolam, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharei,
Malachei Elyon, Melech Malchei Amlakim, Kadosh Baruch Hu.
I need a sign, let me know you're here. All of these lines are being crossed over the atmosphere. I need to know things are gonna look up, 'cause I feel us drowning in a sea spilled from a cup. When there is no place safe and no safe place to lay my head, when you feel the world shake from the words that I said, calling all angels, calling all angels. I won't give up, you don't give up. 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 I need a sign to let me know you're here, 'cause my deception speaks it all from being clear. I want a reason for the way things have to be. I need a hand to help build up some kind of hope inside of me. Calling all angels, calling all angels. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei
Hasharei, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malchei Amlakim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharei, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malchei Amlakim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
warmed up and we're ready to pray. So we should rise for the Baruch Hu on page 146.
Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I breathing? Barechu et Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed Le'olam Va'ed
You remain standing on page 152.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed.
Hear, O Israel, Adonai is our God, Adonai is one. Blessed is God's glorious majesty forever and ever. Please be seated. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levacha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'otecha ve'hayu
advarim ha'ele asher anochi metzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinatam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'beitecha u'b'lechecha b'derech u'b'shachbecha u'b'kumecha u'kshartam leot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot b'neinecha u'chtatam al mezuzot beitecha u'b'sharecha למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם אלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם
Adonai Elohechem emet.
Page 156. Actually, it's going to be. Okay.
157.
It's 157. And that is, it's going to be our introduction to the Michamocha. And we're going to do it right here, top of the page. Standing at the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt. that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands and marching together.
So I know it's a smaller crowd because of spring break, but small is mighty. So Magnolia is going to lead the way for our tradition. Mi Chamocha, we celebrate the crossing of the Red Sea, and we celebrate our freedom. Here we go.
Umiriam, Ze'eli anu ve'amru, Ze'eli anu ve'amru, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. That was really nice. So now we come to the real reason that I arrived in Henderson today, and that is so I could lead Yismachu. There are people who believe that Yismachu is the only song I know.
Yeah, you've been saying that for a while now.
You already heard it. I can sing other songs. However, I am a star of stage, screen, radio, television, and the recording studio. I have recorded Yismachu not once, not twice, but 3 times, including with Cantor Jessica. And so, please join us.
And we have a special surprise for you.
Okay.
This is, no, 1 second, Mike, I'm sorry. So if you're in our B'nai Mitzvah class, if you were just here maybe for Hebrew boot camp and you stuck around, you get to come on up, all right? Because when we have a bat mitzvah here, we have choreography that goes with it. Because,
good.
and let me tell you why, and I reference you during the choreography, when I'm teaching the choreography, because I say we have to have choreography because we cannot harness the joy that you bring this particular prayer without actually having choreographed dance moves. So,
cool.
Everybody, let's move to the side just a little bit over here. Move this way. There we go. And can you teach everybody how it goes just in case they don't know it? All right, here we go. Magnolia, let's teach everybody. Ready? Yismechu v'malechutecha shomrei 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 Shabbat v'korei oneg Shabbat. Yeah, she got. Let's try it one more time. Here we go. Yismechu v'malechutecha shomrei 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 Shabbat v'korei oneg Shabbat. All right, now you've got it. We want to see you dancing. Here we go. Now we're ready. Yes.
Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat. Korei Oneg Shabbat. Yismechu b'malchutecha. Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat. Korei Oneg Shabbat. Mikadashei, Mikadashei Shavi Shabbat. Kulam Yisbeu, Mitangu, Mitubecha Shabbat. Yismechu, V'malchutecha. Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat. Korei Oneg Shabbat. Yismechu, V'malchutecha. Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat. Korei Oneg Shabbat. V'shvi ratzita bo, ratzita bo v'kidashta Shabbat. Chemdat yamim, oto krata Shabbat. Yismechu v'malchutecha. Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat. Korei Oneg Shabbat. Yismechu v'malchutecha. Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat. Korei Oneg Shabbat. Zecher L'masei, L'masei Bereshit Shabbat. Zecher L'masei, L'masei Bereshit Shabbat. Yismechu v'malchutecha. Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat. Korei Oneg Shabbat. Yismechu v'malchutecha. Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat. V'korei Oneg Shabbat.
Was it Brad that said that people used to cheer for the Shabbatones when they played that back in the day? That's pretty cool. So we ask you to rise as we begin our Amidah prayers on page 164. Pray as if everything depended on God. Act as if everything depended on you.
Adonai Tiftach, Adonai Svatai Tiftach, Ufi Agid Tehilatecha,
Moshia Umakein.
Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham.
Ata Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayim Kol. Ata Rav Le'oshia, Moshiv HaRuach U'Morid HaGashem, Mechakel
Hayim bechesed, Mechayeh hakol berachamim rabim, Somech noflim v'rofei cholim, U'matir asurim, U'mekayem emunato,
Lishenei Afar.
Mikamocha bal gevorot, U'midom elach, Melech menit u'mchayeh, U'matzmiach Yeshua.
V'ne'eman ata l'chayot hakol. Baruch atah Adonai,
Mechayeh hakol.
אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יעלוך סלע.
Baruch atah Adonai, Hael HaKadosh.
We continue in silent devotion through page 180, using the words on the right or the left side of the page, or the words within our hearts. When you have completed your prayers, please be seated. Shabbat Shalom to our friends that are watching on the live stream. At this time, if you are thinking of someone who is in the bed of illness and is in need of healing prayers, please submit those names in the chat on Facebook and on YouTube at this time. The names submitted to our office this week: Terry Rabin, Mike Petty, Herbert Muskin, Sherry Muskin, Audrey Smith, Marilyn Goldstein, Roger Marcus. We look to all of you in the congregation to please rise and say the names of those you are thinking of at this time. Kim Rodriguez, Ray Singer, Kimberly Green. we've recently brought back. If you feel you want to rise and put your arm around the person next to you to add to our prayers, you can do so at this time. Our special Mishaberach. You don't have to be so hesitant. Imagine there's a heaven. It's easy if you try. Beauty all around us. Surround us, Adonai. Imagine all the people living for today. Imagine there's no cancer. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to plague or harm us, and no addictions too. Imagine all the people living life in peace. You may say I'm a prayer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will heal as one. Mishaberach Aloteinu, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Refuah shlema min hashamayim. Refuat hanefesh, refuat haguf. Hashtabach Ubizman karev v'nomar amen. You may say I'm a prayer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will heal as one. That was a little different for you, huh?
That's great. Loved it.
All right. Well, it's that time. Don't be seated if your birthday's in March, because you're going to get a special blessing at the Ark. It's birthday Shabbat. I know those calls were made. Anybody born in the month of March? Anybody here born in the month of March can come on up. As we open the Ark doors, please rise. You thought you were going to get comfy.
Here, get closer. Come on, closer, closer, closer. We have a few more people joining us. So I'm going to break with tradition. We all know the tradition of the birthday cake. And you make a wish, but you don't say it. And you blow it out. I've been going to birthday parties for a long time, and I always wonder, what's the wish? And so I'm going to go around, and if you're comfortable saying your wish for this next year, I'd invite you to do so. If you're a traditionalist and don't want to break that tradition, you can pass. Okay, Michael, what do you say?
My wish is for continued success for all of my children.
Amen.
The safety of my family.
Amen.
Good health.
Indeed, amen.
I don't have a wish.
You don't have a wish? Well, wait a minute, when's your birthday?
13th.
Okay, you have a few days to work on it. Okay, Barbara.
Good health.
Amen.
People are so separated. I'd like to see them joined.
Yes, we really need that. So, is there a blessing for a birthday? Of course there is. You've made it this far. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehecheyanu v'kiyamanu v'giyanu lazman hazeh. We praise you, God, sovereign of the universe. You've kept us alive, sustained us, brought us to this special time in each of our lives. Amen.
All right, how about a little Simon Tov Mazel Tov? Simon Tov Mazel Tov Mazel Tov
Simon Tov, Simon Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Simon Tov, Simon Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Simon Tov, Yehelanu, 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 Olechol Am Yisrael, Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Olechol Am Yisrael. Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Olechol Yisrael. Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Olechol Yisrael. Mazel tov.
Have a wonderful birthday. I want to hear that wish in a couple days. Please be seated.
So this is a musical service. I thought for my Devar, we'll do a little music and a little bit of interactive discussion. So first of all, when I was a kid, it was a long time ago, there was a program on TV called Name That Tune. I wonder if we have any old-timers who remember that one. Okay. You do, and oh, you're young. Maybe they must have brought it back. Okay, so the way it works is as follows. They would play a few notes and see if you could guess the tune. I'll give you an example. You'll probably guess this one, okay? I'm going to hit 4 notes, and if you know what it is, raise your hand. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, what do you think it is?
Beethoven. It's like the other.
Oh, okay. He has a composer. It's Beethoven. Which one? Beethoven's Fifth. Okay, Beethoven's Fifth. Probably one of the most famous pieces of music. Okay, I want to do a variation on that game right now, though. I'm going to tell you what the tune is. It's Mi Chamocha. And I want you to tell me when it is that we're singing this tune. Okay? You guess. Here we go. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar ba'kodesh. Okay? We have a singer over here. When do you think that is?
The high holidays. When? The high holidays.
Yes, the high holy days. That's exactly right. Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur. No, not that melody. This melody we do only during the high holy days. Okay, now I'm going to give you another melody. Ready? Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar ba'kodesh. All right, I'm going to zoom over here and tell me when you think that would be.
That one would be Hanukkah.
Yes, Hanukkah. It sounds a lot like Rock of Ages, right? Okay, I'll give you one more. And this one is Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai. Mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh. Okay, you think it's?
It sounds like something Tevye would sing in Fiddler on the Roof. When? I don't know.
Oh, you don't know when? Okay, let's see what you think. When?
Maybe like Passover.
Passover, right, because it's, and she said, you get credit too. Right, because God of right, God of might. Okay, so what's the purpose of all this? The point is, we can tell where we are on the calendar just by listening. You hear the sounds and you know where we are. We call this nusach. That's the nusach. Okay, now I'm going to give you a little harder quiz. Maybe, I'm not sure. I'm going to actually sing a song to you, and I'll sing more of it, and I want you to tell me when on the calendar this would be sung. Utsu etzaveh too far, Utsu etzaveh too far, Utsu etzaveh too far, Dabru davar velo yakum ki Immanuel. Utsu etzaveh too far, Dabru davar velo yakum ki Immanuel. All right, anybody here have an idea of when on the calendar that would be? I don't see any hand. I told you this would be harder. Okay, let me read to you the translation of those words that might give you a good hint. Here's what the words of Utsu Eitzah mean. Make your plans, they will be annulled. Scheme against us, it will be to no avail, for God is with us. Okay, so when do you think we would sing that song? Okay, good guess. I never like to say to somebody, you're wrong. So I'll just say, good guess. Okay, I'll make my way down the row and let's see what you think. Simchat Torah? That's usually a happier, this doesn't sound so happy, but it was a good try. I like it. Purim. It's Purim. We just celebrated it this week, talking about, you know who, I'm not going to say the name or the place will just break out in a lot of booze, but you know who I'm talking about. He plotted against us, but guess what? We prevailed. Well, I taught the Introduction to Judaism class in Orange County, California for 41 years. I actually have alumni from that class present here tonight. Do you know, it's almost no place that I go that I don't have alumni from that class, because well over 2,000 people went through the class over all those years. And we had a couple of lessons in that intro class. One was on Purim. The other one was on Yom HaShoah, which is the Holocaust Memorial Day. And the reason why it was important in particular to teach those holidays was this. I felt that we have a moral obligation to let people know, if they are thinking about joining Am Yisrael, the people of Israel, the Jewish people, that there can be danger involved in that. A lot of it is like what we're feeling tonight, so upbeat, so joyous. That's what we love about it, but that's sadly not the whole picture. Well, the message of Purim, and we just made it through Purim, is that starting from you-know-who, and one after the other, through all the generations, as the song said, they've tried to get rid of us, but here we are. We're still here. I'm going to do one more game. I have a guess as to how this is going to go, but one never knows. I'm going to ask you to vote. I want you to vote on your personal favorite Jewish holiday. And I'm going to tell you the choices. I'm going to give you a relatively limited number of choices. Not that limited, but a little bit limited. Okay, I want you to pick amongst the following: Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, Sukkot, Simchat Torah, Hanukkah, Purim, Pesach, Shavuot. You probably noticed that I did not give you as a choice Tisha B'Av, the 9th of Av, because that is nobody's favorite holiday. That's the mourning day over the destruction of the temple. Okay, now we're going to go back and vote. Please vote only once. So we want to know your personal, not what your neighbor thinks, but your personal favorite Jewish holiday. And don't care if you're the only hand up, because that will sometimes happen for some of the holidays. So let's see. Who would pick Rosh Hashanah as your favorite holiday? Okay, I see a couple of hands. Thank you. 3 hands. Okay, how about Yom Kippur? Okay, and we see a few there. Very good. How about Sukkot? Oh, yes, thank you. If you build a sukkah, it will become your favorite holiday. If you don't build your own sukkah, or it may not be your favorite holiday, it may not be your favorite, it'll be much more significant. Otherwise, you're just kind of visiting the holiday. Okay, how about Simchat Torah? Okay, that one I knew would get quite a few more. It's a happy holiday. Okay, and now we get to Hanukkah. How many do we have for Hanukkah? Aha, exactly. And I'm going to tell you something else. And a bunch back there, I know that this is spring break, and so we don't have nearly as many young people here tonight as we would otherwise. Or, when I said Hanukkah, even more hands would have come up. Okay, now I'm going to say Purim. Okay, we have a few Hamantashen lovers, good. And now we get to Pesach, or Passover. Aha, okay. Thank you. And lastly is Shavuot. Poor Shavuot hardly ever gets a vote. So I could have told you in advance what I expected, and I was not disappointed. The numbers were divided pretty equally and largely related to age. Not entirely, but largely. In general, the younger set love Hanukkah. We know why. And then the older group really has come to appreciate Pesach or Passover. Yes, and it's a wonderful holiday. And one of the reasons I think we love Passover so much is, unlike the others that take place mostly here, Passover takes place at home. And we don't have some people up there kind of directing it. We each direct it our own way. We make Pesach the way we want it to be, and we love it as a result. So that is great. So we find ourselves right now between Purim, where we marked near destruction, and moving towards Pesach, where we're going to start out in slavery, but certainly by the time the Seder is over, we're going to be in freedom. Redemption, we call that. And that is terrific. But, unfortunately, redemption is not complete. I'm going to read you one passage from the Haggadah. You might remember it from the Seder, or maybe not. But here is what it says. It says, V'hi sha'amda la'avotenu v'lanu, the one who stood up for us, for our ancestors. Shelo echad bilvad amad aleinu lechalotenu, for it wasn't only one, wasn't just the Pharaoh and all those afterwards who stood up to destroy us. Ella bechol dor vador omdim aleinu lechalotenu. In every generation, there are those who want to stand up against us. But here's the assurance. V'hakadosh Baruch Hu matzilenu mi'adam. Just as in the Purim song, we state at the end, God does stand with us and protect us. I'm sure you read the daily newspapers or you turn on your computer and you know what is going on today. Sadly, the haters are still with us. And the question is, how are we to respond? How do we respond to this time that's a difficult time? The answer from our tradition is fearlessly. Stand up straight. Stand tall. Be proud of being Jewish. I want to tell you one more story. Two parts to it. Part one is this woman sitting right here. This is my wife, Robin. Robin, as she gets tireder during the night, if she talks to you, you might hear it a little bit. She comes from Brooklyn. But she moved when she was about 6 years old to California. And the family moved to Los Angeles. And then, when she was about 12, they moved to Orange County. Now, we have some people who have lived in Orange County, and so you know what I'm talking about. Orange County was known as the hotbed of the John Birch Society. People in LA said, "What, are you crazy? You want to go live in that kind of an environment?" When Robin went to Western High School, she says, I'm not sure she's exaggerating, sometimes she does, but here's the way she tells it. In my high school, Robin says, there were only 6 Jews in the entire school. And there were only 6 Democrats. And they were the same 6 people, and half of them refused to admit it. That was the world of Orange County. And so you would think, oh my gosh, how dangerous. And yet, if you talk to Robin during the oneg afterwards, she'll tell you she didn't really face serious anti-Semitism. Now I'm going to tell you something that happened about 2 weeks ago in Los Angeles. In the Pico Robertson area of Los Angeles, pretty close to where you grew up. And Pico Robertson is a highly populated Jewish area. It's kind of like Israel, except it's in America. It's like that. You walk down Pico and you see kosher butchers and a kosher deli and kosher bakeries and synagogues on every block. The Simon Wiesenthal Center, you got everything there. It's really Jewish. And what happened there 2 weeks ago? A man drove in. He doesn't live there. He drove in because he knew that there were a lot of Jews there. And he looked for somebody who appeared to be Jewish. Well, it's pretty easy to see it there. He saw a man walking home from synagogue wearing a yarmulke, and what did this guy do? He pulled out a gun and shot him. Fortunately, he was a bad shot, so the guy survived. It's not the end of the story. The next day, the guy comes back to Pico Robertson from wherever he lives. He shoots another Jewish man. This time, he gets caught. And I saw on CNN this morning that he has been charged and faces a possible federal penalty of life in prison, which is just dandy, right? But the last part of the story is about someone I know. Her name is Hillary Chorney. She's a Facebook friend of mine. She's actually a real-life friend also. Several of you are Facebook friends, and if you're not already, I invite you to be. Anyway, Hillary is one of the rabbis at Temple Beth Am in Los Angeles, which is near Pico Robertson. She also serves as the cantor of the congregation. She trained as a cantor and then also as a rabbi. Such a thing may sound familiar to some people here in Henderson, Nevada. But in any case, I have worked with Hillary on the Sandra Kaplan Community Bet-In, of which I'm the chair. This is a community organization that welcomes people into the Jewish community representing the widest part: conservative, reform, reconstructionist, non-denominational, and etc. Well, we ran into a problem during COVID, and that is the mikveh. There's one mikveh that we have been using in Southern California at the American Jewish University. It had to close because of COVID. So what did we do? We set up a committee and developed protocols for what we call natural tevilah. Tevilah means immersion. And one of the requirements for people becoming Jewish is immersion. It typically takes place in a mikveh, a specially constructed ritual bath, but can take place in any natural body of water, such as the ocean, or a lake, or a stream. We developed the protocols. Well, Rabbi Chorny posted something this week. She lives in that area, an area that should be so safe and isn't. And so she said, when I walk home from synagogue, I text ahead so my family knows when to expect me. And then she did one more thing, and it's gone on now for a couple of weeks and will continue. She spread word in her neighborhood. Every Shabbat afternoon at 4 o'clock, everyone is welcome to come to her backyard. She'll have some food and drinks, but mostly it's for people to be together and for the kids to be able to play together, because that's how we respond. We actively are Jewish. So what is the message for this Shabbat? I think it's a message that is loud and clear, and let's proclaim it. Am Yisrael Chai, the people of Israel lives.
The words are Am Yisrael Chai. You ready?
Am Yisrael Chai, 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 Am Yisrael Chai. Od Avinu, Od Avinu, Od Avinu Chai. Od Avinu, Od Avinu, Od Avinu Chai. Od Avinu, Od Avinu Chai. Od Avinu Chai.
I hear you.
Am Yisrael Chai, Am Yisrael Chai, Am Yisrael Chai. Am Yisrael Chai, Am Yisrael Chai, Am Yisrael Chai. Am Yisrael Chai, Am Yisrael Chai, Am Yisrael Chai. Am Yisrael Chai, Am Yisrael Chai, Am Yisrael Chai.
All right, Am Yisrael Chai. I also read that story on Facebook, and I was very taken by it. It was very cool.
Yeah.
All right, we are reminded that it is upon us to change the world. We turn to page 586. We rise for our Aleinu prayer. standing for our Kaddish prayer on page 598. Again, if you're watching us on the live stream and you would like to submit the names of those you are thinking of tonight for Kaddish prayer, perhaps you're saying a yortzeit, perhaps there's just somebody in your heart, please submit those names in the chat at this time. We think of Sonny Spivak, Sybil Weingast, David Funk, David Torgman, Jean Knapp, Scott Benedict, Debbie Deacon. We commemorate the yortzeits for Marilyn Barkin, Harry Borscher, Francis Carter Ramsberg, Sarah Barr Charnas, Joseph Bernard Deandra Jr., Scott Doxwell, Hannah Eisenberg, Robert Eisner, Melissa Evan, David Ewan, Fanny Fagan, Brett Fonfa, Sheldon Gordon, Louis Katz, Sylvia Katzger, Julia Kurtman, Paul Cranston, Robert Lewison, Nancy Lipset, Maria Lugo, Edward Lester Jr., Esther Croft McGeeds, Martha Meny, Deborah Ashe McBride, William Meyer, Rachel Moore, Maureen Moss, Louis Perlman, Israel Tito Prito III, Saul Premack, Paul Ross, Charles Schall, Annette Schultz, Harry Vogel, Maria Zelda Walker, Amelia Wanderer. If there are any names that we did not mention that you are thinking of tonight, please say those names. Martin Koffner, Paul Cranston, Harry Schiller. Page 598. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabba, ve'almad dibrach hiroteh ve'amlich malchuteh, v'chayechon uv'mechon uv'chayet kol beit Yisrael, ba'gala v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabba mevorach le'olam lomei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yithalev v'yithalal shemei tekudasha barichu le'elam mikol birchata v'shirata tushbachata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama Rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. O say shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us, to all Israel, to all the world, and we all say, Amen. Amen. Please be seated. I am excited to hear announcements from our president, Jerry Gordon.
Good Shabbos, everyone. First of all, obviously, welcome to all of you in person and remotely. And before I get to the announcements, obviously, we'd like to thank Rabbi Einstein and Robin for joining us. Obviously, Cantor for leading us in services, the Shabbatones, which you will then name in a few minutes. And now with regard to, well, I don't call them announcements anymore, messages. And I've been gone a couple weeks traveling, and yep, it's expanded. So I will do what I normally do, and is remind you everything I say is on the website. And as such, I will just highlight a few items. Earlier today, you received a blast with regard to the upcoming Tikkun Olam luncheon, honoring our own Shelley Berkeley and Dr. Larry on Sunday, April 23, 2023 at 11 a.m. at Bella Vita. Please, hopefully you can attend. It's really a good event. It's a brunch as well, and you can get more information on the website, how you can book tickets. Obviously, CNT's Passover Seder is coming up on Wednesday, April 5th at 6 p.m. We will feature our artist in residence, Jewish country music superstar, Joe Buchanan. Again, for information on this, go to the website or your blast. And finally, which is the last one I should talk about? Actually, I'm going to pass. So with that, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
So one last thing is in a couple of weeks, we are doing something that I think is very necessary. We're having a Rainbow Shabbat is what we're officially calling it, Rainbow Shabbat. Don't be a drag, just be a queen. And so we have a friend of both of ours, Raymond, is coming. He is cantorial soloist by day, drag queen by night. And so he will be gracing us, and it should be lovely. There's a Tot Shabbat at 6 o'clock. We'll have Drag Queen Story Hour as part of Tot Shabbat. Then we'll have a very special service where they will share their story about how they came to becoming a drag queen and what that means in expression of self and how we accept people no matter who they are in this congregation. And so we're really excited to present that. It's a bit of a pride Shabbat, and it's in conjunction with Transvisibility Day, which will be explained on Shabbat morning when Rabbi Matlau will be leading a Torah study about transgender, and we will have that will all be on Zoom, but the Rainbow Shabbat will be here in person, and you will not want to miss it. And the committee that we have formed to help plan this says everything must be rainbow, and I am so about that. So it should be lovely.
Can I just say that Raymond Zachary is one of our boys too. He started his earliest religious education at Congregation B'nai Tzedek.
He told me.
And we just saw him in Palm Springs, and it's amazing. He is really amazing. So you'll enjoy it.
Yes, it will be really cool. So, and if you have questions about it, because I realize that this is maybe something you've never seen in the synagogue before, and you're going, what's she doing? I don't understand. Please talk to me at the Oneg, and I will explain why this is what we're doing. And I want to encourage those of you who are here tonight, and anyone watching on the live stream, pay close attention, because Rabbi Einstein's Shabbat with us is not over. The best part is yet to come. Tomorrow morning, in our boardroom, we will have Torah study, a very lovely Torah portion to dig into, and then we will come back onto the bima. We have a little, a nice setup that Lee and I have designed for you, and you will see the very special way that Rabbi Einstein lanes Torah, and it is really something to be part of, and we'll have a brief service together as well. So 8:45 tomorrow morning.
I get paid by the word. It is not going to be brief.
All right, well, I tried. Yes, it will be. It will be a beautiful morning. I am looking forward to it because I am going to sit back and pray with all of you. So it should be lovely. 8:45 Torah study, 9:45 our service. Please join us tomorrow morning for that as well. Okay, big, huge thank you to our Shabbatones. We are so grateful for them. Every single time, I just want to kvel more and more. We have Mike on drums, David on bass, Jay on the whole entire horn section. If you play any instrument that is wind or brass or horn or anything like that, we're holding auditions, so please let us know. We have Ira on guitar. We have Glory on backup and percussion compliments, and Brad on guitar, and Eddie on the piano. And so we are thankful for all of our Shabbatones. We want to thank our junior cantor, Magnolia, apparently the only person not to go away for spring break. No, but you are. But you are, yeah. And we want to thank our Bima guest, Jerry Gordon, and our shamus, Del Acosta, and of course, Rabbi Einstein. And we will be going over to our Kiddush and Motzi. So if you came up here because it was your birthday this month, come on up for Kiddush and Motzi.
I know that it is very common at the end of the prayer for people to say l'chaim. I'm going to say something a little different, and I'll say it again tomorrow if we make Kiddush in the morning. And that is, according to Jewish tradition, when we say a bracha, there is to be no interruption. We are to then do the act. So we're sanctifying Shabbat over the cup of wine and with the full blessing, and then we drink the wine. But what happens to l'chaim? We want to say l'chaim, don't we? I have a theory about saying l'chaim, and that is wine gladdens the human heart, but alcohol can be deadly. And so I believe we say l'chaim to remind ourselves, if we're drinking alcohol, do it responsibly. It should be l'chaim, the lo l'mavet, for life, not for death. So where do we do it? I will tell you. I'm going to introduce the Kiddush with a little phrase. And the phrase is, Savri Chaverai, which means, with the permission of my friends. That's when you yell out l'chaim. And then we'll go into the blessing. Got it? Got it. It may take twice because we're not used to it. Here we go. We'll try it once and see what happens. Savri Chaverai. That was pretty good. Now we'll do it for real. Ready? Savri Chaverai. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kadsho, v'ahava uvratzon hinkalanu, zikaron l'maseh v'reshit, ki hu yom techilah l'mikra'ei kodesh, zecher l'tziyat Mitzrayim, v'ivanu v'charta, v'tanu kidashta, mikol ha'amim, v'shabbat kadshecha, v'ahava uv'ratzon hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat. Yeah, if you're not drinking, you can say amen. If you say amen, it's as if you said the blessing. But if we're drinking the wine, we don't say amen to our own prayer.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. All right. I also forgot to say thank you to Alex Hill on sound. Thank you so much, Alex. We couldn't do this without your setup. Okay. Thank you so much, everybody. Well, you know, Rabbi Axelrod has a favorite Oseh Shalom, so I decided that in case he was watching, that we would go ahead and close with this Oseh Shalom, my favorite for the Shabbatones. Oseh Shalom bimromav, v'ya'aseh Shalom aleinu. Oseh Shalom bimromav, v'ya'aseh Shalom aleinu. Oseh Shalom bimromav, v'ya'aseh Shalom aleinu. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom bimromav, v'yaseh Shalom aleinu. Oseh Shalom
Shalom Bimroma, Yase Shalom Aleinu, Yase Shalom, Yase Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael. Yase Shalom, Yase Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael. Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael. Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Please enjoy the oneg in the back. You can come through this way.